Oh, good evening, everyone. Sorry for being a little bit late, but welcome to the Crowcast. My name's Phoenix, and joining me tonight is Donkey. How you going, Donk?
Good, mate. How you going?
Oh, look, just smashing it. Just smashing
Hey,
it.
you've taken us off mute to start off with. That's the first for you in about 8 weeks, I reckon.
Well, actually, I can't tell I didn't put you on mute. So.
Oh, that's the first. That's your best start to a cast for ages. Let's all give Phoenix a hand.
Yeah, get stuffed. And Nikki, how are you going?
I'm going very well.
I'm pleased to hear it. Pleased to hear it. No Pete tonight, I don't think. He may join us a little bit later, and we are using new freaking software tonight. So we've already had one test run with about 1,000 people joining us on various chats. So apologies for the earlier test run that went live by mistake. But hopefully we won't have any further problems. And why not, without any further ado? Oh, and don't forget, we're brought to you by Smith Partners Real Estate and Down to Earth Electrical, and supported by Scorpus's YouTube channel, Hardware Unboxed. And as I mentioned last week, or Sunday maybe, did I mention it Sunday, Nikki?
You did it Sunday.
Sunday, we're having live callers this week, and the first bugger that calls us on 7200... Oh shit, what's the bloody number?
So we can get us on mute, but he can't remember his number.
No, it's a special Crowcast hotline. It's a Crowcast hotline. You can't just bloody, you can't let these people call your personal number. That won't work. Yeah, these people.
The great unwashed. It's good to be with you.
Yeah, when I'm ready to take calls, I'll give you the bloody number. In the meantime, let's do some news, shall we?
I like Morley's one.
Bunch of assholes. All right, who's going to take news in Pete's absence? I'm going to have a massive spit in a minute.
All right. Let Nikki go.
Yeah, well, it used to be mine. What is Nikki's news? But that's because I just used to slag off Essendon. Quite rightly. Yeah. They deserved it. Well, Premiership Ruckman retired today.
Sean Grigg.
Just
had a gutful.
I think the body just couldn't hack it anymore because he hasn't been able to get up for a game at all this year. And whether it's also partly strategic because it then gives him a pick in the mid-season draft, which is coming.
Oh yeah, that's it. Look, seriously, you got to do your moves tactically and strategically, and if you don't think a bloke's going to keep playing, and that's not a bad way to move him on, we should just I wonder if there's anyone that we could probably do that to and see who we can chance at the draft.
Maybe.
Fan, you're up.
I couldn't get a clearance to play bloody D-grade for Kenilworth the other week. That's actually a true story. Never mind.
Meanies.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. And I keep forgetting about this pre-season draft, this mid-season draft, but it's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out.
Yeah, definitely, because we do have the option that we can pick one up if we want to, with Duday's long-term injury. And nice interview with Mick Godden today. I think this is the first time he's actually fronted for quite a long interview. And they did ask him about it, from coming from being an SANFL head coach. And he quite blatantly stated the SANFL is a development level. And they understand it. You don't like it, but you do also the other side that you want to see these players get successful and have an opportunity in the AFL. And one interesting thing he said was he's not on list management, but you would think that if we're going to bring somebody in, we want to bring them in to be a part of our team for the long term, not just for 1 year.
Yeah. That's fair call. All right, look, I can't hold back anymore. Gary Ablett got off, Nat Fyfe got off, and the other lad from North Melbourne got booked. What the hell is going on?
Oh, good bloke.
Nah.
Good bloke.
No. This is starting to get ridiculous now.
It is incredibly. Mitch Robinson from Brisbane immediately tweeted out, "Right, cool AFL. So we're allowed to go lead with our elbows."
It's actually ridiculous. I don't know whether I'm going to try and put it up on the cast for those people watching, but I actually can't believe it. Can't believe it. I can't believe that Gary Ablett didn't get a week for that.
It is actually unbelievable, especially after the week before as well. And what it shows is if you don't punish the crime, then you get a doubling. You get a doubling of the effort. So, you know, law and order exists for a reason. And if these guys aren't punishing people for doing the wrong thing, it's just going to come right. I mean, what's he going to do this week? Smack someone on the head with a chair?
But it's actually true, Donk. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's bloody true. How in the hell can they not book that? I don't get it.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely, utterly ridiculous. We talked on Sunday, didn't we, Finn? We thought, well, he's going to get a week.
Had to go.
He has to go. It's ridiculous. And how on earth he got cleared? Just, oh, yeah, nothing to see in that. That was worse than what he did the week before.
Oh, yeah. Look. It blows my mind. It actually blows my mind.
Yeah.
And Nat Fyfe isn't any better.
No, because I was watching that live when we were doing the cast, and I said, well, he's in trouble too.
Yeah, I missed the Nat Fyfe one, but definitely caught the Gary one, and it boggles the mind. And when people talk about how the AFL has one rule for superstars and another rule for the others, this is one of those moments where that is, in stark presentation. It's not funny,
but it's actually undeniable now. Like you can't deny it. Because there's no way.
Oh, they'll try.
No, look. It's actually pissed me off. It really has. Because there's young lads getting games for no reason. And these blokes, particularly Ablett, is second week in a row. And he's left the ground. He's hit the guy with the elbow. All right, there wasn't any sort of, concussion or any of that sort of stuff. But he's made contact with an elbow and he's left the ground and the ball is miles away. How does he not get a week? I don't get it. How does he not get a week?
No, it is 100% that the AFL match review panel and the tribunal all being geared towards Christensen, but it's the whole system, because it was as bad before him as well. It's all geared towards what does the show look like and how does the whole show look. And if putting Gary out for a week doesn't fit their program, they're not going to do it. Like to have Gill come out and say that shaking the goalpost or climbing the goalpost had no material effect on the game is, in a similar vein, is just another. They're choosing when to implement the rules based on whether they think it's a good look for the overall.
It had no impact, but they still fined him $1,000.
But
send him a please explain.
But I don't think it's not a subjective thing. Like if you either shake the goalpost while someone's having a crack or not. It didn't unintentionally go to climb it. And you can't unintentionally go to climb it and have it shake. There's no holding up of the logic there. But my point is less about the shaking of the goalpost, but more just it's about the look and feel of the competition rather than the integrity of it through its rules. And
it's the vibe.
It's the vibe. Yeah.
Oh, look, it's not right. It's not right, and I think that the AFL, there's going to come a point where it's just so blatantly obvious, but I don't actually know where that point's going to be, because to me it's already...
right now?
Yeah, I know, but what's going to happen? There's still nothing happening. And I've got to point out too that I've got a natural censor on this podcast tonight. My 11-year-old son is listening via YouTube from his bedroom and chatting to me. So, hello, Tyler, go to bed. He's ratty and he's more worried about Philly getting done by Kylie Leonard. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he travelled. Oh, my God. How many steps did he take before he actually bounced the ball?
No.
Awesome shot.
No.
But how many? He took about 5.
No, the new rule is if you're catching the ball while in motion, your first plant of the foot after that's called the 0 step, and from there you're allowed to establish a pivot foot and then put another foot down. It's ridiculous, but it's in the rules.
There was about 5.
Look, anyone that's played basketball starting before 2018, like, that is a travel, but I'm telling you it's not a travel under the new rules. But I'm going to get boring in a second, so let's stop talking about it.
Anyway, that was a heartbreaker.
An awesome shot. We'll give it that.
That was a heartbreaker, and I logged on at lunchtime. I knew the Raptors Philly game was on, and I logged in at lunchtime, and just my Twitter feed had gone crazy, and I just checked it out and thought, oh my God, what a way to go out. You'd rather lose by 20.
Yeah. Yes and no. At least you rocked out.
So we'll move on to something that's very, very close to Donkey's heart, because breaking news from Jake Niall in The Age.
Oh, yeah.
Clubs may be asked to bid for AFLX licenses.
What?
Oh, wow. No, but like, as in, can you guys please do it? Please. Is that
so say that again?
This is direct from Jake Niall's article in The Age that was only put up not long ago. The AFL is keen to continue with AFLX, but has raised the possibility of clubs bidding for licenses to play in the modified form of the game. Gill met with clubs on Tuesday and raised the prospects of them only participating if they wished and limiting the number of teams for the short form of football. The bidding for license being along the lines of clubs bidding for AFLW teams. You know what? I think most teams want an AFLW team. I'm not sure any of them want an AFLX team.
But hang on a minute. What about, and I was only half listening to you because I'm wrestling with a million screens at the moment. What about state league clubs? Are they allowed to bid?
Unfortunately, no. It just seems only the AFL ones. But
are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm reading the article as I go.
Yeah.
Magnificent. Imagine if the Port Magpies decided to secede from the AFL team because they're not exactly the same end.
Yeah, that'd be funny. That'd be pretty funny, I have to say. But no, I can see this actually branching out to be some sort of a hybrid competition where aspiring clubs that want to participate on the big stage actually decide, well, hey, maybe this is a way for us to get through to it.
Yeah.
No, I reckon that could happen if they actually don't get bids from AFL clubs.
I think they're stuck in a quandary of needing to have the top flight players of the game rock up and want to play, not having the clubs having buy-in, wanting to send their top flight players to an absolute joke of a competition, and not having anyone with any actual loyalty to any of the teams running around because they're not their club teams, and if they go in their other format, so they are trying to rig a format that doesn't have it isn't as big as every club, but has the star players because you've got the club buy-in, and therefore bring fan loyalty and actual fan attendance. That's what they're trying to do. It is the most patchwork strategic play by the AFL, which is just another ad hoc hodgepodge pile of crap from the worst administration this game has ever seen.
Yeah, and they used to have Demetrio. But Jake Niall has actually buried the most important part towards the very end of the article, because he says that one of the major talking points of the meeting was the soft cap for football department spending. And apparently there was significant support for consolidating the soft cap of both men's and women's in the AFL, although obviously this would mean a different cap for clubs that did not field an AFLW team. And it would also have to be different for us as Adelaide, because we actually have a higher cap because we're aligned with the Northern Territory.
Interesting.
And everyone in the Northern Territory is higher, so that's good.
Interesting times. Look, there's a definite change in approach since Gill came on board, isn't there? Like it's no longer like there's things afoot.
Look. When Dimitri was in place, I don't feel like it was the cloaks and daggers moves. Like he would do stuff, and you'd be really annoyed about it, and he'd kind of shrug his shoulders and go, "Well, I'm doing it." You know, whereas Gill, it's all in the shadows. It's all manipulating the situation. You know, Gill was the manipulator under the Essendon scandal. Gill was the manipulator behind the Melbourne tanking fiasco. Gill had a hand in what the punishment came out to us. Gill has been the manipulator at that level at the AFL for a long, long time, and he doesn't know how to shoot straight anymore. And he is an absolute disaster on the game because he tries to tweak all the different knobs and buttons and things to make the game different, and he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's ruining it, and he's going to have an absolute farce on his hands in 5 or 6 years' time if he doesn't let the game do what it's going to do. The game grows on its own. The game doesn't need the molestation that comes from Gil McLachlan and his team of cronies. They need to go right now.
Geez, Donkey, it's nice to have you have a little bit of space to talk. Yeah, I thought it was just tipping and Dream Team and that was it, but you've just gone bang there.
Look, their incompetence and stupidity has been the absolute anger zeitgeist that I've been feeling for a long time in this competition. It's been suppressed by the fact the Crows have been doing quite well, and my sort of slowing down from that enthusiasm earlier this season has allowed me just to sort of regroup and refocus and find someone to attack, and it's definitely those people. So, but in saying that, just as a quick pivot, when Nikki said she was bringing up something very close to my heart, I did think we were talking about AFLX licenses. I don't know if everyone's seen, but Domino's has brought out a tin spaghetti Hawaiian pizza.
What?
So I actually thought that was. Well, no, I think it's coming out to Domino's Australia as well. Oh no, it's just the Kiwis that get it, but hopefully we're not too far away. So
yeah, apparently their spaghetti in a can, the one that they're using, is horrible.
Yeah,
way to make it slightly palatable.
They're using Waddies. Look, I'm probably, I think an SPC or one of those would probably be a good get here. So look, I can't wait to have the Australian innovation catch up to there.
I was just going to say for the point to back you up regarding Gill, he's as good at running the AFL as his brother is at editing Wikipedia pages or commentating on football.
Oh yeah, let's not go down the what is it, romping winds or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway, what else have we got going on in news?
Well, Richmond are in a bit of trouble once again with the injury front because they've lost Greg. But Nankervis is out for about 8 weeks.
What did he do?
Oh, got it.
Groin, I think it was.
Yeah, because they haven't got a backup.
No, not really.
So they reckon Sodaldo or the other hyphen. They've got 2 hyphens. They've got 2 mums and the other bloke. So whoever not 2 mums is.
Yes, no, Soldo, they reckon Soldo is probably the only one that's likely to come in.
Although the other one is a ruck forward and is a lot more relevant to Dream Team and Supercoach. So I'm praying for the other one. But
yeah, well, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
Any other news going on?
No.
There's some stuff, but I'll talk about it because apparently I have to do sweets and smacks for Macca, so I'll talk about it then.
Oh, really? Can't you do it now?
It's going to be short. No, it's going to be short, sharp, and shiny.
All right. Well, I don't think there's any other news that I can think of. I'm just trying to put the number on the bloody screen at the moment. That's not happening either.
What's the number?
Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, let's
write it in the chat. I'll read it out.
Shh. Let me go and do some match ball. Oh, crikey! This is going really well.
That was about 2 seconds worth of music.
Yeah, well, that's all I'm allowed. Now look. 722-8087. If anyone's got the guts to come on and talk about the Port game on the weekend, or any of the news that we just stumbled through, or anything else, the first person to call in with something actually decent to talk about may well win a Crows cap.
Was that 722-8087?
722-8087.
Oh, wow. So that number again is 722-8087. And we'll be talking to you soon.
In the meantime, Nick and I have had our say about the match on the weekend. Donk, what do you think? I know you were fired up pretty well on Twitter.
Yeah, look, I was living pretty large during the game. It was a game that I was actually quite worried about going into, thinking that we didn't have the supreme advantage over Port that I think we've had in the past few encounters, even though the last one was quite tight. And I thought that the Port blokes, even though they were down a couple of players, were still going to be a tough matchup, and I think that they proved me right. I'm really worried about the kids that they've got coming through. Dersma and Rosie look like absolute champions of the game that are going to rip our hearts out on multiple occasions over the next decade and a half, I think.
Yeah, agree.
But saying all of that, just watched an absolute masterclass of giving a fuck this week. Oh, sorry, I realised I've got sensitive ears on. Just absolute masterclass of effort and intensity this year, and it was that game. It was an absolute masterclass of intensity. Just watching our attack on the ball, not letting things slip up, not rolling over when things got a bit tough. I know we had a little run against us, but that was a couple of goals. I don't think that was lazy play. That was just sometimes games break against you, and if Greenwood slots that easy one, then their run gets stopped.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I don't think that was. I mean, it wasn't great, but I'm not. It wasn't a North Melbourne first quarter 2017 or grand final second half or anything like that. So I think that there's a lot more Rio built into our side for when the shit comes. We're a lot stronger and we stand up. The one thing that concerns me about us at the moment is that we stop the ball down back, we slow the ball coming down at the back, we get the ball, we transition the ball pretty well from the back line to half back, and I think probably to the middle. But our delivery inside 50 and our structure inside 50 still aren't at a level yet where I think that we can call ourselves a premiership contender. But the improvement that I've seen from the club over since the North Melbourne game doesn't make me think we can't get there. It's just that's the last piece of the puzzle I think we've got to lock down. So if we can get that forward 50 functioning fantastically, then I think we are in for a very exciting season with the really big worry that I had about us before being pushed over and rolled over, not being as great a concern because our game is built on strength and discipline as opposed to flash and fast ball movement.
And contested ball. We just want to win the contested ball.
What was that alliteration that you went through? It finished with fantastically. What was it? Something functioning fantastic. It was fantastic. Anyway.
We can listen on the replay a bit later. Forward 50, fantastic forward 50 something. Yeah.
Functionality, yeah. Speaking of functionality, I've just hooked in to have a look to see how we're going on YouTube. And don't forget, we are live on YouTube from now on, and we are tonight. And I've noticed my little fella giving me an absolute roasting on chat there, and I've gone to click on his name, and there's an actual function called timeout. I can give my son a timeout on YouTube.
Tyler! You're in big trouble, Tyler.
That's fantastic. Oh, dear, he's going to hate that. Anyway, look, I agree with you, Donk. It was rock solid, and we haven't played that style of football, that the type of football that gives you a little bit of confidence that we're always in the contest for a long, long time. And it just, to me, it's premiership winning football. It's the kind of football that you can be confident in and build on, because it's not based on flighty, fancy ball, possession chains or anything like that. It's just good, hard, solid football, playing the percentages, playing to our strengths, and I really like the changes that Pike's brought to the table over the last month.
Yeah, and for me, it says a lot of things about the club and about Don Pike and about the playing group, and that is that they went away at the end of last season. They assessed what was going on. They found out some things they didn't like, and they actually tinkered and adjusted and tried to make serious structural changes to the way they played to contend at the top while they were at top flight. So, they haven't deconstructed the list, put a new list together and decided to play like this. They've gone, we need to build this and do it now. And they've done running changes and it's working. And, at the start of the year, we probably saw some teething problems. And in fact, my mission over the next couple of weeks and maybe the bye weekend is to go back and watch some of those early games and not watch them under the prism of thinking we were 2017 Crows and watch them under the prism of being 2019 Crows and just watching for what, the difference is. So, and I think, go on.
So in Pikey's after match on Sunday, he actually admitted that it was after the North Melbourne game that he sat down or during the game and he went, this is what we need to do to fix. We need to change what we're doing. He then talked to the leadership group and said, what do you think we need to do to fix the way we're playing? This is what I think. They agreed with him and he went, okay, I will start building that into the training. So the problem they had was they had a number of 6-day breaks early on, which meant you can't do a lot of training and actually changes. So he could only add them in little bits at a time and it's slowly working this way. And Godden's interview today, he talked about as well, the North Melbourne game as the change and bringing it in. But he also talked something I think that you guys would be, and most people would be very interested about, is that Rob taps to different spots than what Source does. He also runs to different spots than what Source does as a ruckman.
We are just watching him run around and jump in things and be on his knees and grab the ball and jump. He does this thing differently to Source where when they do one of those bounce things at the start of the game, Riley O'Brien jumps up and tries to tap the ball for the other Akron. I think that's really novel and good.
Well, what I actually noticed in this game was that he couldn't do it at the start because they were jumping over the top of him. So particularly with Lysette. So he just went and stood where the fall of the ball was going to be. And Lysette's like, I can't deal with that. So that's when they did the swap. They actually took Lysette off. They wouldn't ruck him up against Rob. They moved Ryder. They switched them around. Yeah.
No. And I think we were you guys were worried especially about, how Rob was going to hold up over the whole game and probably fairly physical encounter for him and, three blokes sort of rotating through him at points. And I don't remember a point where I thought, you look buggered or you're not putting in there or you've stopped trying. And I don't think you can ask for too much more than that.
No, and it's quite one thing that we didn't cover in the news, but there's just a little bit of scuttlebutt at the moment regarding Mr. Jenkins. You guys across that?
Oh yeah, or as I like to call him, a juicy first rounder.
It'd be nice to have another one.
Well, linked to Hawthorn. Hawthorn are known to take Crows from the scrap heap like Ricky Henderson and turn them into reasonable players.
But they wait till we actually delist them before they pick them up.
Yeah. Well, we won't be delisting. We won't be delisting JJ, but it's just interesting that what that says to me, apart from those things are clearly crap, but what it says to me is that the media think that Himmelberg's doing a decent job. And that Himmelberg actually looks like a serviceable part of the team, and I happen to agree with him.
Look, I couldn't agree more with you there. Look, Himmelberg provides that. What I have been. But Himmelberg provides provides that really great contest around the forward 50, and he brings it to ground, or he's leading up and away, which is actually creating other spaces and holes inside the forward 50 for Tex to move through or the Crummers to move through. Whereas you'd always see JJ sort of being plays like a prima donna full forward from like a B or D grade side that just sort of wants to mill around about 30 metres out from goal and just sort of just put his hand up and just wave over kick it to me, or kick it over my head and I run to it. He doesn't want to actually have to do the hard work. And the extra effort that you can see he will go to put up a contest in different parts of the ground is actually just opening up our forward line. And even though we're not clicking 100% yet, I think we just look like $1 million compared to what we did, in the game where JJ decided to, snap the ball from 2 meters out and miss everything completely, and then cost us all our momentum and lose the game. So, it's just chalk and cheese.
Yeah, no, I do agree, Donk. It's more solid what we're getting from Elliott, in my opinion. It's contests, it's commitment, it's just good honest footy, and he'll come good. I mean, people complaining he wasn't taking marks on Saturday night obviously haven't played footy in the wet before.
Yeah, not many took marks.
And often with two blokes hanging off him, they're already crashing him. Like they're already putting lots of defenders on him. So he's not having an easy ride. And he likes that. Yeah, well, he's not far away. Like he's putting up a contest that isn't just like I'm here and it's the ball slack in my hands and now it's on the ground. Like he's 20% away from actually clunking, another 3 of those marks.
Yeah,
just got to make sure just got to get him to drop the ball from less than 50 meters away from his foot, and he'll be able to kick a few more snags. Agree.
So looking forward, I'm a little bit concerned about the Brisbane game this week, I have to say. Not because of form or anything like that, but just purely because we've had a couple of tough games. We've had short turnarounds, and now we've got to get on a plane for 3.5 hours to Brisbane.
We like Brisbane, though. We
do like Brisbane, but...
I reckon you tell me before round 1, I was having this as an easy win in my book. By the end of round 1, I was fearing playing everybody, especially Brisbane. I think Brisbane have come off the boil a bit. I think they've had a really good start of the season. I think they're getting a little bit tired now, and they're not quite as good as they had been. I think they're still pretty good footy, but I think we're hitting our straps, and a young Brisbane side isn't going to like us driving into the ground with their tackling and heavy defensive play. So I think that is it.
Yeah, well, that's probably true.
Yeah, a lot of our scores are actually from turnovers that we pressure into turnovers. And Brisbane already turn over the ball a lot. So that's kind of playing into the hands of how we're managing to score at the moment without kind of letting us open it up a bit, which you'd think that Brisbane would want to try and open the game up a little bit. And that could be not a good idea. I do think because you look at they missed so many shots against the Bulldogs, which shows that they're tiring. That's when that fatigue is starting to hit in.
Yeah, that's probably a fair call.
So it seems we keep getting teams at the right time.
Yeah, and that in itself's a bit of a worry, though, isn't it? I mean, we don't want to be overstating our form.
But also, right time for us. I feel like we're playing a bit of a video game at the moment. We keep leveling up the different bosses. So, we started off with the Gold Coast, who were pretty soft, but playing good footy, and we rolled over them. And then it was the Gold Coast, or it might have been the other way around. I can't remember. But then we build from there, and then we build onto Freo, and then we build onto Port. So I think we're leveling up each time, which is just about the right stage for our progression. So, just take what you got.
Now, I just want you two to listen to what's going on at the moment. Can you hear that? That's silence. That's the phone not ringing. That's the phone not ringing.
Very naughty. Come on, you lot.
722-8087. All right.
I thought it was 722.
That's probably why no one's calling.
Some
poor random in Perth's getting a hammering. 722-8087. Go ahead.
That number again is 722-8087. 722-8087. Call us right now, and you can talk to Donkey, Nicky, and Phoenix live on tonight's Crowcast.
Oh my God!
Somebody got his radio voice out.
Weather in Darwin's fine and cloudy with a top of 32. Showers in some regional areas.
Oh my God! Anyway, Donkey, you've got far too much space tonight. Where's Pete?
Competition's going to go for 45 minutes. This is fantastic.
Yeah, no Mac and no Pete.
We're definitely going to send everybody to sleep.
If for no other reason than I just want to test to see whether the damn phone works, someone give us a call, 722-8087.
Magic, it would be funny if Macca called in.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah, I want my spot back. Yeah, no, look,
Who gave me? Okay, no. After the cast finished on Sunday, I had about a 5-minute conversation of who I had to say for Sweets and Smacks. I'm sorry, Mac. I've pretty much forgotten.
Oh, he's probably forgotten by now too. Don't worry about that. let's not stress too much here.
no.
Now, one thing we had a bit of discussion about on Sunday after the game was what to do regarding Knights, Atkins, and Gooch were the ones we kind of thought are on the cusp. What do you reckon?
Drop Knights, drop Gooch, bring in Ned, bring in Shoal, and Atkins can have another run for me, even though I thought he was a squib. But
What about Chase?
hang on, drop Atkins, bring in Chase, bring them all in. I want to see all the kids play. Every kid we put in has been fantastic this year. Let's give them all a go.
You're just being silly now. Why would you drop Riley Knight?
I don't think Riley Knight was there. I think he looks a bit off pace. I don't think his touch is quite there. I didn't think he looked like he had the right intent. I've been a massive Riley Knight fan for a long, long time, and I didn't watch his game on Saturday night and think it was great.
Yeah, well, that was my take. I didn't think he got nearly enough involved. Even his strengths, his tackling pressure and whatnot were down, and he's just not doing enough as far as I'm concerned at the moment, which is a bit of a concern. I think I'd be inclined to give Gooch another week, Donk. I just feel like he's had a short pre-season. He's come back probably a little bit prematurely. It's all been a little bit sort of haphazard, and I wouldn't mind giving him a run of weeks. And if he doesn't start getting a bit more of the agate, then maybe it's time for Chase.
I was surprised that Gooch came in so quickly to the AFL side, but I do know that Pike has wanted him in the team quite
hey guys,
quite strongly.
We got someone on the phone.
So, my God.
Who's this?
Do they know what they're in for?
Who's this on the phone? Oh no, they hung up.
Oh no!
Ring back, whoever that was. Hang on, I've probably got in history. Oh, anonymous. someone's.
Oh, you bugger!
Oh, you know who that was? That was
Tyler.
That was my freaking son. Oh no, he says it wasn't. Anyway, 722-8087. Ring back, whoever that was, and don't be a wuss. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, so I'm with you, Fina. I think that he showed a couple of little glimpses again, and just that point of difference that he gives us with the speed. And interestingly, it was pointed out that he did spend a little bit of time in the middle in the last quarter.
Yeah, and did a couple of little things. Did a couple of little things, Nick.
Yeah, and he just does that burst of speed, which we don't have. Okay, fine, he kicked it out on the full, but that was one of 3 or 4 out of the fulls we did, so he wasn't the lone hand in doing it.
No, and a nice little 1%er that not everyone sort of picked up on towards the end. Just a nice little clean take at a critical moment about halfway through the last quarter, and I just thought, yeah, Gooch, you're not far off. You just need to get around it a bit more.
Yeah. Well, I'd be happy to give Gooch a stay of execution. I agree, he hasn't had a good run, and he's only young and hasn't been around quite as long as some of those other guys. But I have a really, really big itch that I need to scratch, and that is to see what some of these kids can do, because I think if we don't chance our arm now, then when it gets to the pointy end of the season and we need to throw a couple of in, we're not going to know what's there, and you've got to check what the cupboard is in first.
Well, I actually don't think it's a bad... Sorry, Nick, just to finish that off. I don't think it's a bad game to do it either, because it's not that Brisbane are playing badly, but I reckon we could probably do with one more outside runner that can still put on some defensive pressure, and whether it be Chase Jones or Ned McHenry, I think they can offer something more than just getting a token game. I think they can actually add to the mix and offer probably more than what Knight is doing at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that hunger sometimes, the wanting to show what your first game looks like and all that other stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's a really big thing. And I would love to have seen Ned play against Port. Like that was, I just think that would have been amazing. Yeah. Anyway, let's get him in.
Now we've got some players actually coming back are up for tests, so they're actually up to come back in. So you've got Matt Crouch, you got Gibbs who had his back spasms, you got McPherson who's due to come back into the SANFL. Seedsman's up for a test as well. Miller is only 1 to 2 weeks away. So Source, I think Douglas is also a test. This could be a bloody good SANFL team we have this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, can you remember the last time we had this much depth going on?
No.
I mean,
And no wonder the stats for the previous, over the journey in the SANFL was we've only needed 13 AFL listed players to generally win the game.
yeah.
Port's needed 16. We're almost having an entire AFL listed players. No wonder we're up the top end of the ladder in the SANFL.
Yeah, it's a real change, and one of the contributing factors to that is that all our draftees from last year are actually performing well. There's not that I can think of, anyone that's really sort of struggling or just finding their way or all the rest of it. They're all having an influence.
Yeah, I really want to have a look at Shoal in an AFL team. Even if it's just a token 1 or 2 games, I think he could be quite damaging, and we just get that and give him that little bit of a taste of what the next step up is like and what he needs to work on to become a consistent AFL player from next year.
Yeah, agree. I just quickly want to say g'day to the people listening on Facebook. We've got Grant and Jonathan at the moment, and surprisingly, we get smashed on YouTube. We've got quite a few listeners on YouTube as well, so g'day to Tracy, and Matthew's been with us since the start of the show. Raddy's gone to bed, thank God. Yeah, it's nice to have that support on these new platforms, and it's a little bit clunky tonight, but we'll smooth things out, and hopefully we'll be back to our professional selves in just a couple of short episodes.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks for leaving me hanging. All right. So, I don't think there's much more to say at the moment. I mean, we could go on about the showdown for ages, but not only did Nick and I pretty much cover it on Sunday night, but it actually
We let Macca have a say a little bit too.
Yeah, a little bit, but apart from that little hiccup, sort of, for the first few minutes in the last quarter, I didn't feel that they ever really stretched us. Did you?
No, not at all. I think they looked like they had a decent run, and it was one of those ones where I've kicked a couple, you sort of giggle to yourself like, oh yeah, good luck, and then the next one happens, and you're like, oh hang on, it's not very much now, it's like 2 goals. Well, we're not going to concede 8 in a row, and then Greenwood misses his, and you're like, oh, that's really bad. And then so I reckon there was about 5.5 minutes where I had some serious. I gave away about 12 kittens, and then after that, again, we reset the situation normal. So we lost control of the game for a little bit. I reckon it was after the Greenwood bit that I felt that I was scared. But
yeah, that had the potential to be a bit of a momentum shifter. taking a hang and then bloody kicking in the man on the mark. It's like, oh, Greenwood, what the hell are you doing?
I know, but that ability though to wrestle that control back to stop them, we really were out on our feet.
Yeah, we looked tired,
and it did time quite considerably with Talia being off, which showed exactly how integral he is to that back line.
Yeah, that's very true, Nick.
So so I think that was a little bit of what it was to do with, but I was really impressed by the way we got it back on our terms, and Sloaney was just absolutely epic.
Oh, he was fantastic. It was just I haven't watched a game and felt that much confidence with him on it for a long, long time. Just knowing that we had Batman there to go fix all our problems. And that smother in the first quarter, when an old mate was trying to aim on, I think it was trying to come out, and he does the smother and the goal from the side. That was just vintage.
No, I think that was actually Houston who Ken Hinkley decided was the best Port player, so he put him in the AFLCA for the coaches' votes.
Those people don't have real names and faces to me. I just guess at what they are. Like, I don't know what they look like.
Well, we actually thought he might have been a bit. We thought he might have been a bit confused because he didn't have any notes in front of him. Now, has anybody ever seen an AFL coach and his assistants sit there with absolutely nothing on the desk in front of them? No notes, nothing to write on, no plans, nothing.
There's no ideas, Nick.
But that's because he's got it in his head, Nick. It's the vibe. It's Marbo. with Ken, but he's just that sort of old school moron that would think that just having just your gut feel and a couple of cans of Diet Coke is going to get you through. I actually think that the change from Coke Zero to the new version of Coke Zero has really thrown Ken Hinkley off in his coaching the last couple of years. That's
actually a really good observation, Donkey, and I'd like to explore it, but sadly we're out of time. So I'm a little pessimistic. I think we might just get done over in Brisbane just by a couple of goals, and I don't think it'll be the end of the world. But I think we might just be a bit tired. Nick, what do you reckon?
I'll probably tip Brisbane, but I think we're still a good chance. There's I think a few things going our way, and I think after what happened there last year, with them targeting Duday and Murphy, I think we will want to make them pay a little bit. And it'd be interesting because this would be the first time Charlie's played against us.
Yeah, well, that's very true.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, that's it for Match Talk. Now, look, I've tried to pan this out as much as I could, Donkey, to build up a bit of a Game of Thrones thing where the first 20 minutes is just building it up, the tension, all the rest of it.
And then you throw away 8 seasons of character development.
Oh, don't get me started. That's a different podcast. But now let's head into, shall we, without further ado, Donkey's competitions.
And that was...
Mate.
You know what the best part about this is? The ABBA.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what that says.
What you guys... I don't know what you guys probably don't know this at home, but I for 6 hours after the cast just keep dancing to Dancing Queen after I deliver my report. So yeah, I do. It's just something that really connects with my soul. Anyway, so let's just get into it.
Right.
Look, something I'm adding into the competitions report that I've not spoken with Phoenix about for 1 second is the Twitter account Carlton Crows pick swap update. So I'm just going to read that out every week when I feel like it, especially when it's good.
I'm actually going to put a timer, an update on the cast graphics. So every week we've got the latest state of play with that pick swap.
Phoenix is very happy. I reckon I'm getting the coaches' votes and best on ground from the umpires tonight. I reckon that's how good I'm going.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Totally getting it. Look, pick 1, Adelaide. Pick 16, Carlton. So what came really good for us this week was not just our win, was also Brisbane biting the dust, and also got the Giants going down in a screaming heap. That got us from 4th to 3rd. Their drop of 6% points on Sunday afternoon. So really good effort from us, from the boys this week. We upgraded from pick 2 to pick 1, and downgraded our pick from pick 13. From pick 9 to all the way out to pick 16. So fantastic effort over the weekend to reset that draft position. Look, as we head over to Sporting Deck just to check out the competitions for the year, the tips are going quite nicely. Mixed Buds still in the lead on 48, DSG 47 with 5 for the week. Nicky New 5 for the week as well on 46. Moyley was
Shocker.
6 for the week, up to 46 as well. Phoenix dropping one back to 45. Bayside Crows, Mark, on 6 for the week and 44 for the year. Paulie C, 5 for the week and 43 for the year. It's all about Joel, 6 for the week and 43 for the year. Donkey and Magoo coming in on 6 for the week and 42 for the year. Ryan coming in at 6 for the week and 40. Then we got Megan V. J Mac doesn't get to have his scores read out because he's still down the bottom. Shortman, Treeman, and Matt round out the bottom on 37, 36, and 33 respectively. So you guys got to have a good hard look at what you're doing and just pick with integrity, and you'll be fine. As we come over to the Real Dream Team, it was a massive week. The Donkey Magoos taking out first place Dylan FCC in the Crowcast Cup. So what a magnificent performance from myself there over the weekend. People were talking about it all over no other forums or any other chat facilities except for in my head. But it was still a great win all around.
There's a lot going on in your head, isn't there, Donk?
Yeah, well, a lot, not, whatever. But the wheat has definitely been sifted from the draft. So we've got Peanut, the Winter March, still on first with a game in clear on first, which is pretty amazing. Then to Dylan FCC on 20. Donkey Magoo's coming in on 20 as well, just down a percentage. Joel, Footy and Facial Hair on 16 in fourth. The Badman Callan in fifth. NTFC, Game of Stones, and High Country Crows all rounding out the 8. Azza, another premier, fallen premier, just like J-Mac, out at 10th. And a few other likely players hanging around the bottom end of the table. And Phoenix breaking through for his debut win.
Did I win on the weekend?
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't think so.
Got that wrong. One week I'm going to say it's going to be true.
Yeah.
And that'll be the week you play.
I was going to say, don't you say that every week and it's the same result every week?
Yeah, I'm doing it's the Jimmy Kimmel thing.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you're drunk enough.
No, I'm we've just had a couple of great Northerns, so it's all going well, quite swimmingly up here. We've kicked over to the dry season up here in the north, and we've got the Crows up here in a fortnight, or maybe just a bit longer. But we've got the Crows up here in a couple of weeks, so it's all very exciting times.
In an awesome Indigenous Guernsey.
Yeah, it does look very pretty, doesn't it?
Once again. Right, Nick, thanks, Donkey. That was an epic competition, but I've had enough of it.
Yes, I am a scrubby old man. That's what I am, and I really don't care.
Now we got Macca's body double tonight. Nikki, apologies.
I am channeling my apparent inner old man yelling at cloud.
Right.
So for the sweets, Andrew McLeod for once again designing an outstanding Indigenous Guernsey. We've never had a bad one. Oh my God, there goes my money to the club again. There's also I quite liked Jared Ruffhead with his coaching on field for his opponent in the VFL.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was actually a good thing to do, and that shows you that he is a good bloke. That one. The other little sweet I would like to throw towards is actually Zach Merritt from Essendon. If anybody hasn't read it, he's wrote a letter which an article regarding gender equality, etc., and talked about the way he was coming through the system when he was a junior. He actually played in a team. They had 2 girls in the team, and felt like many of these top AFL players, those girls were actually better players than what they were, and understanding what they were going through, etc. And it's a really great article. People should read it. It's actually up on the Essendon website as well. So I'll just go read it. Do yourself a favour. Which then leads into a smack.
Oh.
Dane Rampy. What the fuck were you on Friday night, dude?
Come on. Now I'm going to... Oh.
Sorry.
There goes
Nikki,
the neighbourhood again.
Think about what you're fucking doing. Fuck me.
Seriously. But calling the umpire, you sound like a little girl. No wonder that got quite a serious fine. It's a $10,000 fine. $5,000.
It's quite insulting to the umpire.
course. But I feel I've got a little girl, and that doesn't sound like that idiot.
Exactly what look he is getting right now if he was in this room. He would combust.
I'm all about lighting fires, Nick.
Oh, that was just absolutely ridiculous. And then he topped it off with climbing the goalpost.
He must have. Was he actually on something?
He was not.
What the hell?
Yeah. Well, that's what I want to know. It was like, I mean, a Friday night in Sydney.
Oh,
I've been to.
You thought he was on the Oxford Street marching powder.
Well, that's the reason why they have those mirrored tables in most of the pubs down King's Cross, isn't it?
I don't know, Nicky. You tell me the story.
Yeah, first I've heard of it, Nick.
Put it this way, my first trip there was quite a bit of an eye-opener. Going, oh, okay, they're not hiding it.
An eye-opener? Oh, you're probably doing it wrong then.
Yeah. Guess the blood's growing quicker. Anyway, continue, Nick. You're actually doing a very good job of impersonating Macca at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm going to do it properly, then this Mac has to be for Burton because we haven't heard from him for ages.
Yeah,
Well, what is he, Nick?
I don't know what he's doing, but Macca would have a go at him about it.
And what would he say, Nick?
I'm not going to say that.
Oh, that's not even that bad. That's not even a swear word anymore. It's that common.
I know. Well, that's Macca's, and I'll leave that to him. That's his. But I think the ultimate smack has to go to what we were talking about earlier with the AFL Tribunal, Michael Christensen, Gil McLaughlin. It's just utterly ridiculous. It is so blatant that this is not in the spirit of the game. It is not what is good for the game. And if you come out now and you try and claim anything to do with that, we've got to think of the integrity and the soccer mums, those mums of those kids. No, you've just shown them that stars of the game are allowed to elbow other players in the head. You get away with it. It's just not on.
I'd actually left that behind, Nick. I'd put it behind me. I'd had my rant at the beginning of the show, and I'd sort of, softened up. And
have I fired you up again?
And it's just pissed me off again. I actually can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I am dumbstruck. I want to see. Yeah. I want to see what Gil and all that have to say about it. It just blows my mind. Blows my mind. Particularly the Ablett one. He has jumped at the guy. He's in the air. He's hit him with the forearm. Oh, my God. 2 weeks.
And the media won't say anything to him because they're accredited by the AFL. And they want to remain accredited by the AFL. And they want that access. They won't say a thing about it. It's up to us on Twitter. It's up to us on Facebook to keep continually hounding the AFL through social media to say, we don't find this acceptable. I mean, we enjoy tough, hard football. It's a physical game. You expect that. But if you cross the line, you need to face the consequences. And those consequences have to be there and have to be given fairly for everyone, regardless of standing.
The thing is, though, did you actually see the one that the young lad got done for?
No, I haven't seen that one yet. But didn't the player go off or something?
And that's the only difference. That's the only difference.
Because it's outcome based. Because they're running scared of being sued.
I'll tell you something. People need to go to... honestly, I'm just watching the footage now. People need to go to the AFL website, right, and go to the article, Superstars Clears of High Hits Young Roo Band, right? And you need to look at the Ablett one, elbow to the face. The Fife one, elbow to the face. The young North Melbourne lad, he hip and shoulders him performing a shepherd 1 metre from the ball. There's a slight clash of heads, and the young lad, for a legitimate act on a football field, gets done. And 2 blokes that perform illegitimate acts on a football field get off. I'm just about out. I'm just about shutting the whole thing down.
Yeah, no, it is an absolute disgrace.
Sorry. Nicky, make me smile.
But how do you feel about
it? Yeah, how do you feel about this? How does it make you feel?
It pisses me.
Yeah, it makes us feel exactly the same. And just the comments I've seen regarding it, it's just ridiculous.
I dare
Absolutely
anyone to
need
go and watch the 3 pieces of footage in a row and not be as pissed off as I am. I dare anyone. Because
And they put that on their website.
yeah.
It's like, do you not understand what you're doing?
Yeah, and PJ Crows on the chat is exactly right. The quicker we stop thinking the AFL is no longer a sport but an entertainment organisation, the quicker we'll stop being so bloody disappointed by it all.
Yeah, they are an entertainment. That's their main aim. Hence the AFLX and everything else.
Yeah. Look, any more? Because I need to go and
No.
drink.
Yeah.
Look, apologies. Thanks to everyone for listening tonight. Apologies, it's been a little bit disjointed. As I said, I am juggling a new system and just getting used to it, but it's been really good to... Do you know, the funny thing is, when I tested this at about 7 o'clock, I had about 25 people jump on Facebook going, oh, the show's on already. And now, none of those people turned up on Facebook.
You teased them.
Come back. But we did have some. We've got a fair few for an unannounced first show on YouTube. A fair few watching. So thanks to everyone for their continual support. We're trying to grow this thing and make it as entertaining, as far-reaching as possible. So your support is very much appreciated.
PJ Crows has promised that he's going to call in next week.
Look, I'm extremely disappointed. This is the thing, right? You count how many. We've got 475 comments. So these blokes on Spreaker, they like a chat. They
do.
They're pretty happy with themselves. They have opinions that I don't mind sharing. You give them a platform. I sent these people messages, you know, all our patrons, and thanks to all our patrons for their support as well. But one of the things that they get as part of their membership is a guest spot on the cast on Tuesday nights. Do you reckon anyone wants to come on? No. You give them a phone. You give them a phone number to come on. No one rings except some Nigerian scammer. Like, what the hell?
I'm going to put this out there, Fade. Sometimes you catch more flies with honey. So listen, everybody, look forward to having you call in next week rather than just abuse you.
Oh, a bunch of assholes.
Now, I reckon, do we know how many are not just Vardy Magic's extra personalities? Like, do we know that they're not all coming from the one computer anyway?
Well, that's possible. Nah, look, seriously, thanks everyone. We will keep the phone lines open every Tuesday night, and hopefully over time people get a little bit more comfortable to call in. We really do want to make Tuesday night as interactive as we possibly can. But we understand that it's an interesting time of the night and not everyone's cup of tea, but the offer is always there. But in the meantime, thank you very much, Donkey. It's been refreshing from you tonight.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. Look, it's been really good, and just good rev up from you both before the game, and felt ready to play.
It's either Pete or Macca that holds him back, because we know it's not me.
Well, it can't be me because I'm just the tech.
No, I haven't had a drink yet on the Crowcast this year. This is the first night I've had a beer, so I'm thinking that might be correlated.
That could be part of it.
Now, Nick,
you haven't had one; you've had two.
Yeah,
Nick, you got a late snack because I've had to play the outro music twice because of you. So shut up, we're going.
Night all.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on Saturday for the rev up. Don't miss it.
Yeah.